There are philosophers who state with confidence that miracles occur all around us every day. And that with a heightened awareness, we will be able to see these miracles and recognize the angels that walk among us. Francis Bacon was born in London, January 22nd, 1561. By the age of 12, he was attending Trinity College and began his law career at Gary's Inn 3 years later. At the age of 23, Bacon was elected to Parliament, where his ideas for uniting England with Scotland would earn him knighthood. In 1621, Bacon's term was cut short when Parliament charged him with bribery and imprisoned him for a short while until the king pardoned him. To this day, Bacon is known as a pioneer of modern science and one of the fathers of inductive reasoning. But even Francis Bacon put his scientific thinking aside in his book, The Advancement of Learning, when he said, "But men must know that in this theater of man's life, it is reserved only for God and the angels to be lookers on." The Miracle Research Center staff has set the stage for discussing real-life dramas about the miracles that touch our lives.
Hello, I'm Michelle Wolford, segment producer on Could It Be a Miracle?
And I'm Bob Evans, producer. Our directors, writers, and editors have been hard at work collecting and assembling stories of the miraculous.
In this episode, our stories include a case of a son and his dying mother and the special bond they share.
The song Amazing Grace plays a major part in a miraculous healing.
Two women lost and out of gas find help from a supernatural source.
A voice in the night saves a young girl from a dangerous storm.
And a dream saves a family from physical and financial ruin. We also have interviews with authors Brad Steiger and Sherry Hansen Steiger, as well as Joan Wester Anderson, Eileen Freeman, and Karen Goldman.
For our first segment, Michelle went to Arizona to visit with Kelsey Tyler.
Kelsey is the author of 3 books on the subject of the miraculous, and our first story comes from her book, There's an Angel on Your Shoulder.
There was one story that involved an unseen angel that really demonstrates how effective an unseen angel can be in this kind of situation. A woman had gone shopping, and it was in the evening. She had promised her husband that she wouldn't stay out too late because there had been some reports of attacks in parking lots in that area, and she didn't want to get caught out too late alone.
So you make these yourself here?
Yes, we do. We hand paint and design everything at the studio.
My mom is going to love this.
She can also use it as a wine cooler if she likes.
Wow, that is great.
Can I wrap this up for you?
No, I think I have something perfect for it at home.
Okay. Can I validate your parking for you?
No, I'm parked just across the street in the parking garage.
Well, you know I lock up in just a minute, and the security guard usually walks me over.
Oh, it's really no problem. It'll take me just a second.
Okay, we'll be very careful.
Okay, have a good holiday.
Bye. Thank you.
So she headed back toward her car. She had her packages, and she was very aware of what was around her, and she moved as quickly as she could to her car. When she got inside, she felt that she was probably safe, and she was going to go ahead and go home. She put the key in the ignition and turned it, and nothing happened. She thought that was strange, and as she went to go and try it again, from out of nowhere, it seemed, came a very large man dressed in a leather jacket. He looked sort of like a very angry biker kind of a man.
Oh, God. Please start. Oh, please.
Come on out.
Oh, please start, God. Please, please.
And he came up to her car and began beating on her windshield and screaming at her, telling her to let him in and to cooperate with him.
Please. Come on, please, God. Please. Please, God. Start, please.
All this time, she was trying desperately to start that car. She just wanted to turn the car over and get it moving so she could escape. But the car wouldn't turn. Finally, just as it seemed he was going to beat through her window and break in, the car finally did start. And she sped away and managed to escape being attacked, possibly killed. As she pulled into her driveway at home, she was still very shaken, and she went in and she told her husband what had happened.
Mike! Mike! Mike, this guy attacked me in the parking garage! I was finishing shopping and he came after me with a knife and he was beating us on the window. Then I tried to start the car. I tried to start the car, but it wouldn't start. It wouldn't start. Mike, it wouldn't start. I tried to...
Okay, calm down. Let me bring you inside. I'll call the police.
Okay.
And he came out and opened the hood of the car to look at the engine because the car had not been having any mechanical problems at all. And as he looked at the engine, his face went white. He couldn't even imagine what he was seeing.
Unbelievable. Christine, come out here. You're not going to believe this.
What?
Well, the guy must have set you up. He knew you couldn't start the car without the battery. He stole the battery.
Oh, he stole the battery?
You don't seem to understand. You can't start a car without a battery. You can't start a car without a battery.
And nothing short of a miracle, nothing short of an angel getting in there and providing the spark himself would have let that car start. Somehow that car got that woman home without a battery.
I can't help but put myself in that situation and hope that if my wife were in danger, someone would be looking out for her too.
Well, there's really no explanation for a car starting without a battery. It's not simply a case of good luck, so it had to be something more.
Here again, a prayer for help was answered in a miraculous way. When we come back, we'll have a story of a mother who dies, but is still able to say one last goodbye. Welcome back.
Our next miracle comes from the book Amazing Moms, written by Sherry Hansen-Steiger and Brad Steiger.
Brad and Sherry have written numerous books on the subject of the miraculous. I recently had a chance to sit down and talk with them, and they told me this story which suggests the bond between mother and child truly can transcend time and space.
This man named John's mother was dying of cancer, and she was in the hospital, and she had suffered a lot, and he was really a faithful son. He really loved his mother, and he had been by her side. He'd just sit by the bed and just be with her and hold her hand and just be there for her.
Is she sleeping?
In and out.
Have you eaten anything?
I'm not hungry.
Can I get you something from the cafeteria? A sandwich?
He's stubborn, Sarah. I tell him to eat. He ignores me.
Hi, Mom. How do you feel?
Peaceful. I'll feel better, though, if he'll make this stubborn son of mine go home and get some rest.
I'm not tired, Mom.
You have the children at home, and I don't want you to stay here another night. Go home with Sarah and see the kids.
I suppose I could use a shower.
And a meal.
Good. Then we are in agreement.
Okay. I'll go home and take a nap. If you need me,
I'll have the nurses call you. Go home, Johnny.
So he went home, and he sat there very grimly before he went into the bedroom, and his wife had fixed him something to eat, and he said, I should go back to the hospital.
John, why don't you go lay down for an hour or so? I've got to finish the sales presentation before I go to bed, so I'll be up if the phone rings.
yeah, okay. 1 hour. I doubt if I'll be able to sleep anyway.
So he went in and said, well, I probably won't sleep anyway. But as soon as he hit the bed, he was really exhausted. So he did fall asleep, and he barely was asleep when he called his wife's name.
Sarah?
And he thought that she was right there because he brushed his cheek, like maybe she was kissing him or stroking his cheek. And then he said, Mom? And he saw his mother, a form of his mother in the room that he thought was so real. And then he got scared, and he got up and realized that wasn't his mother, couldn't be. He was in his bedroom and she was in the hospital. So he ran to call, and calling his wife, ran to use the phone and call the hospital.
Nurse's station, how may I help you? Oh, Mr. Carlson. I was just about to call you. Your mother passed away.
I'm terribly sorry.
What time?
Just after midnight. She was very peaceful, Mr. Carlson.
Yes, I know. Mom said goodbye.
So he experienced that peace, and she came to him and said, you know, that one last goodbye, and perhaps kissed him on the cheek because he felt something there first. So something survived enough to let him know that she was all right.
From our experts, we hear stories about apparitions that are able to save lives, whether it's through some type of a warning or a dream. Here's a case where an apparition appeared only to convey a sense of comfort and love. It's interesting.
Well, it's similar to stories we hear of angels intervening, where the sole purpose of the angelic visit was to bring someone a message of peace.
Right. Well, coming up next, we'll have a story of a woman who is healed with the help of a song from above. Welcome back. In our next story, a mysterious hospital worker brings more than comfort to an ailing heart patient.
That's right, Michelle. He brings a song, hope, and a sense of peace, all of which combine to save a woman's life.
Mrs. Hudson is a hard-working music teacher.
Mama, don't tell me you're going into work today after how you've been feeling. School chorus auditions today. I can't let the kids down now, can I? Anyway, who's the mother here? I'll see you this afternoon. La 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 la. La 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 la. Good. Now this one. La 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 la. Very nice. Well, that was a good rehearsal today. You're excused now. See you tomorrow.
Mrs. Hudson tried to bring music into the lives of all the children in her class.
I'm sorry, I don't think I know your name. I'm Mrs. Hudson. And what is your name?
Tim.
Well, did you want to try out today for the chorus? I noticed you weren't singing.
I didn't think you'd want me because
I understand. Come over to my desk. I want to show you something. This is a picture of my husband. He was a famous singer on the radio and stage and television, but when he was a boy, he had the same problem speaking that you have. I'm going to play a record for you of his voice singing, and let's see if you'd like to be able to sing like this someday.
We hope everything will be fine. The operation went very well. But it's still too early to tell whether or not your mother will make it through the night. The next few hours will be very crucial. But if she gets through it, she'll recover fully. I'm sorry, but that's all I can tell you right now.
Her daughter Agnes spent a restless night, pacing, worrying, remembering. Then she uttered a prayer.
Dr. McGuire to the lab. Dr. McGuire to the lab.
Please. I don't want to lose you. I love you, Mom.
Is that your mother in there?
Yeah, it is. She has a bad heart.
No, I don't believe that. That woman in there's got a good heart.
Agnes awoke to an angelic voice singing.
grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear. The hour I first believed.
Mom, you made it. I love you so much.
The man who works here, he's a janitor on this floor, and he was working here last night.
Those two guys over there were the only janitors working here last night.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I know everybody that works here.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
There were no janitors on the late night shift, except for those uniformed employees. As Agnes walked away, she realized that she and her mother had been in touch with an angel.
Music has long been used in the healing process, but the surprising element of this story is the appearance and subsequent disappearance of the janitor.
We've had a number of stories where someone steps in just long enough to help, but is gone before anyone can say thank you. According to our experts, this is very consistent with how angels operate. They don't like to be noticed, so when they do help, they do it discreetly.
When we come back, we'll have the story of two women who were out of gas and lost in a bad part of town.
And later in the show, a child's recurring dream saves lives.
Stay tuned for more miracles. Our next story comes from Eileen Freeman's newsletter, Angel Watch. We'll have the address of the newsletter for you at the end of the show.
In this story, two women are running out of gas and running in circles in a bad neighborhood. Now, this isn't necessarily a life-threatening situation, but it is one in which a mysterious intervention takes place.
Well, it was about 11 o'clock at night. We had reservations in this motel, and we had to put them on the credit card, so we had to pay for it whether we used it or not. And in New Jersey, where we live, all the highways have gas stations on them. There's always somewhere that you can stop and get gas right on the highway. Not so in Maryland. And when you're like me and you can get lost in a paper bag, this is not good having to get off the highway.
I don't really like this. This is no place to run out of gas.
These aren't the kind of pumps that accept credit cards. I can't believe we were so stupid to let the car get so low on gas.
It might be considered stupid in this neighborhood to have a grown woman waving around an open purse with a credit card. Put it away, get in the car, we will find another gas station.
Well, we better find something soon because we're running on empty.
I have never seen so many closed gas stations. What do they do in Maryland? Take everybody's car keys away at night? We need a little good luck here.
We need something. That's 15 closed gas stations. I swear it. I've been counting.
It doesn't matter if it's 50 closed gas stations. We only need one that's open.
Look at the gas gauge. I didn't know the needle went below empty.
So, anyway, we saw a sign at one of the exits that there was a rest area. So we got off, pulled into the gas station, It was one of those self-service gas stations, which we also don't have in New Jersey, so I wasn't too sure about the system there. I went inside and I asked the man if we were supposed to pay first or afterwards, and he said, whichever. So I gave him a $20 bill and told him I'd be back for the change when I was finished.
If we ever find that hotel, I'm going to suggest a newly designed brochure, one with real directions.
If we ever find it, I'm gonna sleep for days. Boy, I'd sure hate to be caught in this neighborhood overnight.
Just then, there was a Bronco parked at the other set of pumps, maybe 50 feet or so from where we were. And a lady got out of it and walked over to us and said, "Can I help you find something?"
Can I help you in some way? As a matter of fact, my friend and I are really lost.
If you go over the Bear Creek Bridge, you've gone too far. Turnoff's tricky. It's easy to miss if you're not looking for it.
You have no idea how much we appreciate this.
You're a local, I take it?
Just visiting, actually.
He doesn't waste any time, does he?
Must be closing time. Hey, where'd she go?
I turned around and hung up the nozzle, and when I turned back, she was gone. Her car was gone. I asked Midge, I said, "Where did she go?" And Midge looked around and said, "I don't know." And we could see a good ways up the road both ways. There were no taillights in either direction. Nothing, just she and her car just seemed to have vanished into thin air.
Did you need something else, ladies?
That woman, did you happen to see which way she went?
Didn't notice, but to be honest, I was supposed to close about 15 minutes ago. She came in here and looked around, then she stood around outside like she was waiting for someone. She didn't even need any gas. But I guess you ladies did, huh?
Thank you very much.
If we hadn't gotten back, we would have been stranded out in this nowhere, all industrial, all factory, nothing around, and just about no gas. That would have been this was the middle of November, it was cold, God knows what would have happened.
It's really great to realize that even if you don't have the sense to realize that you're in trouble and to pray and ask God to help you, He does anyway.
Only that, in fact, that's the only one that would know. And that's why we had the angels sent to us. This was the only thing I could figure out later.
We do seem to see a lot of stories like this where someone steps in to help and then mysteriously disappears when the work is done.
So the question remains, was it an angel? Up next, the story of a close call between a young girl and a bolt of lightning.
Angels help people when they're in trouble, or they help cheer them up. I was sliding really fast on a sled one day, and I bumped into a tree, and angels made sure I didn't break my nose. Thanks a lot, guardian angel. I like my nose the way it is.
We're back with more miracles.
Bob came across our next story during his interview with author Brad Steiger.
I spoke with Brad and Sherry Steiger recently, and they both told me this story of a young girl fascinated with thunderstorms, a fascination which nearly proved fatal.
This story from Angels Over Their Shoulders deals with a young woman who all of her life had heard an inner voice directing her toward one particular career choice. And it was a career choice that fit very well with her likes and dislikes ever since she was a child. She had always been fascinated with weather. The setting for this story takes place on a very dark and stormy night, sort of the mystery story setting.
Mom, did you look outside the sky before? When it was all purple and pink, it was really cool. Weather scan predicted this storm 4 days ago.
Weather what?
The
the program on my computer. You know, the one that shows everything. Pressure changes and dew points. It can even tell when lightning's going to strike.
We could certainly use the rain.
I love the way the air smells right before an electric storm. I think I'll take a walk.
Think again, young lady. Electrical storms can be dangerous. That's a word you'll find in your spell check.
Well, you better get over this fear when I become a storm chaser.
Let's compromise. Meteorologist. It's 10 o'clock.
I know where this is going.
Good night, Anne.
Good night, Mom.
She goes up to her bed, but first, you know, she's sitting there kind of watching. She gets up and goes to the window every once in a while because she's still fascinated. She's very reluctant to get into bed and leave all this drama behind her.
Better than fireworks, huh?
I was thinking it sounded more like a rock concert.
You're the expert. I'm leaving you this flashlight in case.
Oh, just in case the power goes out. I know.
Laugh now. You wouldn't be laughing in the dark.
No, I like the dark.
Go ahead, get into bed.
It's only thunder, Mom.
I can appreciate that from a distance. See you in the morning. Night.
So she eventually lies down in her bed, and she's still watching the pattern of the lightning flashes on the ceiling and on the walls, and she's testing the old theory of whether you can count the beats. Is it getting closer? Is it moving away? And eventually, by focusing that way, she does fall asleep. But she has not slept very long when she hears another voice other than that career-orienting voice. And this voice is much more immediate, much more dramatic, much more emphatic, and the voice says, "Get out of bed. Get out of bed right now." And she heeds the voice.
Get out of bed. Get out of bed right now.
Are you all right? Yes?
She would surely have been killed if she had remained in bed, but she listened to that voice, and that voice saved her life.
On the same subject, Karen Goldman, author of Angel Encounters, had this to say.
I think that when people hear these heavenly voices, it's not like a person's voice. It's a voice. It's like the whole universe vibrating in your system. You know, you can't avoid hearing it. And that's actually how it feels when, you know, you have communication from saints or angels or any pure beings. It's you can feel it in your cells. I mean, it's so much a part of you because in that realm where angels and holy beings live, anyway, everything is one. You're just part of them. It's not like we're all separate individuals and we all have separate identities. It's a very unified universe.
We'll be back with more miracles.
Welcome back. Our next story deals with a common aspect of miracles: dreams.
The Simmons family lived in a small town. Happily married, these two high school sweethearts considered that most of their dreams had come true, but they had no idea how their dreams were about to be altered. Evelyn Simmons wanted to be a writer. Her husband, Neil, worked in a local plant supporting her, until one day when Neil went to work and discovered the plant had been shut down. Evelyn's latest writing effort was a cookbook filled with her grandmother's recipes. It wasn't the storytelling she wanted to write, but she hoped to reach a market and sell the book. But on this day, it was another letter of rejection.
I'm sorry, Mom.
Neil, what are you doing home so early?
They shut it down. I don't have a job.
It's all right. We'll get through it.
Hi, sweetheart. Great news. I got a job offer. We'd have to move to Oakland, but they said they'd find us an apartment near the plant.
That means we'll have to leave this place?
I know how you feel about this place. I love it too. But it's the only offer I've had. Oh, I brought in the mail. Something here for you.
They say I don't know my subject well enough. The subject is my grandmother.
I'm sorry. It'll happen for you. I know it will. You just have to be patient, okay? Okay?
That night, Neil and Beth both awoke from a disturbing dream.
You okay? Oh, it's okay. It was just a dream. It scared me. You okay? Tell me the dream.
We were all walking and we found strawberries.
As she told her father about the dream, Neil discovered that the strange images from her dream sounded incredibly like his own. The family was walking together and saw strawberries, but for some reason didn't dare to eat them. Next, there was a large green tractor that they needed to walk around. And that took them into a dense fog where a woman suddenly appeared and smiled as if she knew them. Finally, a bright light seemed to engulf the family. It was the bright light, Beth said, that had frightened her. As they were preparing to move, Evelyn and Neil accidentally discovered an old shoebox containing letters written by Evelyn's grandmother.
Is this yours?
No, I've never seen it.
This is my grandmother's. Look. I never knew she looked so young.
The letters were filled with a lifetime of the struggles and emotions of rural life. She was so inspired by the letters, Evelyn began to write her grandmother's story. Despite the pending move, Evelyn discovered that the story she wanted to write seemed to tell itself. The family took their first trip to their new potential home, and when Beth spotted a sign, it reminded Neil of their shared dream. The strawberries, the tractor, the woman in the fog, and the blinding light.
Neil, you turn this too.
As Neil rounded the next turn, a dense fog settled in around the truck. Neil could not ignore the feeling of impending danger, as if the dream had been a warning. Worried about driving in the fog, Neil decided to pull over, but a blinding light appeared headed directly toward them.
Neil, he's not stopping! What was that?
There's something else coming.
Another car pulled off on the side of the road. A concerned man stepped out and approached Neil.
I don't know.
It's okay, I'll be right back.
Wait, Daddy, be careful!
You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. That was close, though.
Yeah, I've been following the guy for the past couple of miles, and I'm pretty sure he's drunk. You know, we should go to the sheriff's office and report this.
Neil and Evelyn filled out the report on the collision. And while the witness waited to give his statement, a friendly woman approached him with Evelyn's novel in hand. It was the woman from the dream.
You know, you should read this. My granddaughter wrote it.
Your granddaughter?
As quickly as she appeared, she disappeared, and the stranger became immediately enthralled with the pages of Evelyn's novel. He was completely absorbed.
This is really a wonderful novel about a very special woman. Just the sort of thing my company is always looking for.
To Evelyn's complete astonishment, the stranger introduced himself as a publisher and announced his interest in buying the rights to her novel. It was just the kind of book his firm was seeking.
So, Michelle, on this show, we've had supernatural encounters in the form of an apparition, an angel, a voice, and a dream.
Our experts seem to agree that these encounters can occur in all these various forms. And as we know, angels and the world of the supernatural are not limited by the laws of nature.
Our miracle research team will continue to seek out stories of the supernatural and the miraculous.
We hope you've been touched by the miracles in this show. If these stories seem amazing to you, you're probably asking the question we ask at the beginning of every program.
The same question we'll ask again next week. Could it be a miracle?
Perhaps a complete understanding of miracles will always be just out of our reach. Nevertheless, the Miracle Research Center staff will continue trying to make the pieces of the puzzle fit. Think about what you've just seen and ask yourself, could it be a miracle? Until next time, I'm Robert Culp.
La hora